and sometimes with that using a similar idea is like doing fine motor Olympics. So if you have two, like an A and a B, or like sometimes it's better not to use two circles. It's better to start out with like a T and a B. Like I just didn't want to spell at. That's why I was to avoid that. But or even just doing an O and a T, which is great for us because you're just making OT over and over again. But the idea is that you just keep doing it, and you say, okay, we're both going to see and try to do the line as fast as we can, and you don't worry about sizing, shape, anything like that. You just, and then you say, all right, I'm going to circle the one I think I did the best, and you circle the one you think was your best. And then when you go back and forth and you compare them, like sometimes the kid will say, I don't know why you picked that one. I think that one's the best. And sometimes I purposely pick the one that is kind of in between to see if they notice, because it's all of that kind of, that visual perceptual piece that you're working on at the same time. And sometimes saying to the kid, like, oh, I think that one was really good too. I think it would have been hard for me to choose between the two if I were you. And it just allows them to do that. And again, it just makes it a little bit more fluid, rather than something they're kind of overthinking as they're kind of like, because that isn't fine motor, that's micromotor. Yeah.
And sometimes I flip that on its head for some of the kids, where it's can be really quite overwhelming with that idea of let's pick your best one, when they're kind of like, you know what, we both know I can't draw an A that looks like an A. So why are you asking me what my best one is? And so I turn it around and say, let's pick our wonkiest one, or the weirdest one, or the fastest one. And sometimes the kids start giving us language around that too. And, it's, as a person as well with not the best hand-eye coordination, I feel a heck of a lot better showing you my wonkiest throw than I do showing you my best throw. But when I do that wonkiest throw and you kind of say, so what made that one so weird? And I'm reflecting on where it was that my hand started and where it ended in things. That is all lighting up the parts of our mind that help us code around, okay, when I put that arm there, that's how I get those wonky throws in that direction, right? I remember kind of how it felt when I made that really wonky letter, and it was feeling really fast. And over time, we start drawing on those experiences so that we can do wonky on purpose, which also means we can do our best letters on purpose as well.
And what Alysha's doing is she's having the child relax enough so that all of the motor memory and the body awareness that we were talking about before starts building, because if you're anxious, then you tend not to build body awareness. And so her doing the wonky and just takes all the pressure off. And even though it may not be the throw we hope the child will have when he's 35, but who knows, maybe it'll be a comedian and then it'll be perfect. But it just takes some of the pressure off and allows them to explore their bodies in that way without having to worry about it being perfect, because that's a lot to ask of anybody, really.
Of course. And then in the educational setting, if you're a teacher and the child really struggles with those fine motor and micromotor skills in printing, we'll get them to trace the letter with their arm to show you that they know how to make it and something that they're more comfortable doing. So you understand that they understand the concept and they have the automaticity of the concept. It's just in the action of creating those fine motor skills and doing it and, in between a line that's difficult.
Yeah. And you do transfer the information from the larger joint, and then how to try to create it with the smaller, with your hand. There's an OT who, like Michael Jordan is a while ago, but she pointed out that every time he went to shoot, and he was really famous for sort of moving his arms around before he threw the ball, and his tongue would do the movement before the rest of his body did. And And I was like, and I first then I watched it, and she was right. That's exactly what he was doing. And so it's kind of, kind of one part of the body leading the other part of the body, which is really fantastic. But I like the idea of like we know that they understand the concept too. But I think that takes some pressure off of the adult who's teaching. That it's like, okay, I at least you know what I'm talking about, rather than because often what happens is they just repeat it and kind of use a little bit more volume intensity in our faces. And I think that makes it a lot more challenging for the child to try to get at.
And so important, I get, related back to what you were mentioning, Kathryn, for, what is a teacher maybe looking to assess in that spelling test? Are they trying to assess the child's fine motor skills that we know has troubles with that? Are we assessing their comprehension of spelling the words? And for children that have those fine motor difficulties, a fail on that spelling test is not a reflection of their spelling capacities at all. And very important for us to be advocating for those different strategies to be able to be used in that context, so that we are really assessing what we are intending to assess.
It's drawing the teacher and the school's attention to the happy marker rule. I mean, this is something that I didn't know about until university, but if you keep the marker happy, you get better marks, right? And so if it's hard for them to read, they're not going to be as forgiving. Mm-hmm. Well, if they can't decipher what you're trying to print, they're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt, right?